Microphone check. Shout out to everybody in Clown World. Can you hear me out there? Tuesday afternoon, February 6th, 2023. Mic check, audio check, Clown World. Can you hear me out there, folks? I see XCH Guide in the chat. That's our Chia miner right there. You want to know how to mine Chia, hit him up. He'll let you know. Chia is an up-and-coming altcoin, up-and-coming ecosystem. Let's get this live stream cracking, folks. Make sure that you're smashing that like button. Honk the heck out of that thing along with the subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can get honked for new content that's coming up on this channel. And with that in mind, I am your host with the honks, Jason Bruce. I do believe I need my glasses here. All right. So, now that I'm in the pocket, let's kick it over to Bitcoin here. Let me jump back in. And we're going to take a look at the 4-hour picture today. And after we did get this little dipsy-do dunkaroo and close a candle body below the Bollinger Bands here, got a few wicks down, and now we did get this Dragonfly reversal doji here, which if you highlight the candle body, it is even with the previous and the next. So you can see that symmetry right there, and then we bounced right off of that. Close that green candle above the lower Bollinger Band. Close another green candle above this point of control right around that 23K area that we're fighting for right now. And the bulls are taking control right now on the 4-hour time frame. So where I would look right now is this next set of supports turned resistance since we took this little dip here. So that first one is right up at around that middle Bollinger Band, which is around 23,231. We've got a little more resistance just above that, around 23,298. Call it 23,3. And 23,399. Call it 23,4. And around 23,487. So I think if we can negotiate those areas, we'll have a chance to crack through this 23,6 and 23,780 area. And we'll have to look around this previous swing wick high, which was 24,244. So if we do see price action move above that, I would expect to get a continuation from this previous flag pattern. So we can take a measured move here. And I'm going to take it from this breakout candle. And that's going to push us just above this purple line that I had mapped out before. And that's going to push us into the $26,000 range. So that is an area to keep an eye on right now if this breakout gains steam above the previous swing wick high, which was 24,255 actually on US dollar tether for Binance. Let's swing over to the futures market for the S&P. We were struggling a little bit this morning. We did get this wick down, but it looks like we're gaining some strength here on the 1 hour right now, and we've got a green candle building above the middle Bollinger Band there. So with the Stochastics RSI in a position of strength and the RSI trying to build up above the 50 level, I think we're looking good there. All right, so sounds like the sound quality is a little better today. I did crank up one of the decibel filters on the microphone, so hopefully we're sounding good. And we've got the music going in the background finally. Did have some problems with that on the last live stream, but we did get that straightened out as well, so let's get it cracking. I think the S&P is looking good here on this 1 hour time frame. I think it's gaining strength. Let's swing out to the 4 hour. I feel like things are cutting out just a little bit here and there. Let me know if you're hearing any audio problems on your end. Shout out to everybody who is in the chat here today. Much appreciated for supporting the channel. Make sure once again that you're honking that like button. We do need the support here to grow the algorithm on this new channel. So what I'm seeing for the S&P on the 4 hour, I think it's a very similar situation to what we're seeing for Bitcoin. We did get a dip down below that middle Bollinger Band, but we are gaining strength now. We do have what appears to be a reversal doji with a long wick that bounced off of this support level. And right now we're trying to take out this 4141 resistance. So with this stochastics RSI in the oversold territory and the blue line dipping above the red on this 4 hour time frame, that bodes well for us to get a bounce along with this RSI, which has just bounced above that key 50 level. So this is bullish. Looks like we'll get continuation on the S&P right now on the ES1 futures. So I think what happened with the DXY earlier, and we saw that little dump this morning, we did get a move up to this resistance area here, where we have this sort of a descending, kind of a parallel channel. It's a little bit of a choppy channel, but it is a descending channel. So I think right now DXY is going to have to reset again, and more than likely we'll see it come back down finally under the 100 level, probably around this 99 or maybe even down to this 98, 50-ish area, which is something that I did have highlighted quite a while back in terms of, you know, where like Fibonacci plays out. That's just above the 0.618 retracement. So I do think that we're going to be headed into this golden pocket area here, between around that 98.50 and around 97.20. So DXY I think still has some dumpage to go, which alludes to I think what we're seeing on some of the larger time frames for Bitcoin, where we do see that flag forming. Let me bring up a different Bitcoin chart here. Can't type today. I don't want the indices. Let's take a look at the 3-day chart here. We'll take a look at this flag. I did highlight this flag in the last live stream, but we are flagging out above this downtrending resistance line. So this flag is something to keep an eye on. And people right now are kind of drawing this as sort of an ascending broadening wedge or megaphone. So technically right now, you know, what you're going to see more than likely is bounce up to the top of this range here, and we'll try and test this line. So we'll see if we can test, you know, 24.6, 24.8 area and create a new, you know, local swing wick high. But to me, these ascending patterns are typically bearish in the short term. So we do have to be cognizant of a potential breakdown on this 3-day, because if we do look at the stochastics RSI, we do have the blue line dipping to the bottom below the red line. It's still in this overbought territory in a, you know, position of relative strength. But when we look at that blue line, we do want that one to be on top to really maintain bullishness. So that's dipping a little bit. We do have the RSI dipping to the support line of this overbought territory as well at that 70 level. So we need to be cognizant of these indicators as well and how they're going to play with this sort of ascending megaphone pattern that we have going here. So, you know, depending on how this pattern plays itself out, you know, if we see a break of support or resistance on, you know, either one of these lines, we could get a fairly sizable move. You know, there's nothing saying that we couldn't come back down to retest, excuse me, this downtrend channel here, which, you know, there's a few support and resistances along the way that we could potentially bump into if we do break down here. You know, you're looking at 20.7, 19.8, 19.5, and then we do have the point of control on the VPVR, or excuse me, the VRVP, which is like 19.1. So, you know, those levels are not unrealistic. That would take us down to a retest around the 200 daily moving average and the middle Bollinger Band and a little bit below it. So that's a healthy retest if it does occur. And we do have to be cognizant of the fact that that could happen. And, you know, a timeline for that, you would be looking, this is saying, you know, April. So there's nothing saying that we don't just, you know, make a weaker move here, kind of consolidate a little bit and then dip down before finally moving back up to gain, you know, like this 0.382 fib around 27.4. We would have to break through 25K first. So I think there's a lot of work ahead for Bitcoin and the overall markets to make sure that this uptrend continues. And that's why we do see a battle at this area, because there is some significant resistance that was created at the top of this last formation where we topped out around 25K. So in order for us to work through this area, it's going to take some chop, and that's what you see right now. We may or may not break up or down of this pattern, depending on what happens, if there's some FUD that comes into the markets, or if we do get some bullish momentum with some good news. So I think that's Bitcoin. All right, so I did get a request to look at XLM. I was waiting to throw those coins out there for a deep dive into ISO 20022, which I will be doing on this channel at a later date. But I will jump into XLM here after I cover Ethereum briefly. So I'm going to jump into the Ethereum futures right now. And futures market has opened for the day this morning. Actually opened yesterday, I believe, around 6 p.m. on Sunday. So keep that in mind. You can see some volatility around the weekly close and the CME open 6 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. So we did see that volatility here. There was actually a small gap that was created around the 1653 level. We have since gapped up to fill that. So price action is still sitting above this gap that was created in price here that we did fill, and well above the 200 daily moving average. And we're still trying to negotiate this larger long-term downtrend line. Well, we're sitting above this golden pocket here. So to me, this is an area where you could see some potential consolidation and retest with Ethereum back down to around this 0.5 fib level. Nothing saying that we can or can't break out of this formation. Obviously, Ethereum is going to follow Bitcoin. So if we zoom out a little bit here, we do see this sort of cup structure and a really choppy handle that's formed here as we've negotiated some consolidation above the 200 daily moving average. So you can see things are getting kind of messy in here. There's some price gaps that have been created. There's some chop. So this area right here, we need to understand there's going to be a move out of this area at some point, whether it's rejection from this downtrend line or break out of it, and then a possible breakout of this overhead resistance line from the channel that's being created as well. So Ethereum's just kind of taking its time right now, and I think if we take a measured move here, I'm just going to take it from this swing wick low here to the first swing wick high of this channel, and we'll pull it out here, and oh, lo and behold, look at that. We bounce right up into this gap up here. So we do have to be cognizant of this next gap up, which is at another Fibonacci level, which coincides with a 0.5 fib, and this gap right here, which is between about 2550 and 2676. I have highlighted this gap a few times on the channel. I'm just making a point of how we've created enough market structure now to extrapolate out a measured move where it could potentially take us to this range. If we take even a little more of an aggressive move from this area swing wick low to the swing wick high of the formation, and keep in mind, you know, this move may take a little bit longer to play out. It could move us up to this next volume node here on the VRVP, and a little bit closer to this 1.618, and that move would take us to like 2839. So areas to keep in mind for Ethereum if we do break upside of this channel. If we break downside of this channel, you know, there's some areas to look at. We do have this point of control here, which actually is at the bottom of the channel. That may hold. If it doesn't, swing out a little bit more here, see if the VRVP does get a little bit more picky, and it really doesn't. So right now, this is pretty bullish in my opinion, because when you're completely zoomed out on the Ethereum futures for CME, this VRVP point of control is holding right here. So this is where our battle is at right now, and that corresponds to you know, the I don't want to call it clickbait, but it kind of was, I'm not going to lie, the clickbait thumbnail for this broadcast. And we've got a fight on our hands here. So it's bulls versus bears right now. We're at this downtrend line. We're at a point of control, and you know, Ethereum's trying to hold price above that point of control. Bears are trying to push us back below, and we do have this downtrend line to contend with. So there may be some chop over the coming days as we try to contend with this range. And just keep in mind, you know, you could see a retest of like 1575. We're sitting at like 1660 on futures right now for Ethereum. So I think that's fairly positive. You know, there's not much room to break down here on the futures. And if it did, it would be some pretty ugly market structure if we were to break down below, say, you know, 999 level on these futures contracts for Ethereum. So I think we're in a good range. And the thing with Ethereum, and this kind of lent to the idea that we did bottom where we did when the FTX crash hit. So you see these red candles here where we did swing down on the FTX crash, but we didn't swing down as far as we did before, where we hit this double bottom back in June and July. And this is the area where I told folks before, this is where you want to start accumulating. So if you'd have been accumulating in this zone and then accumulated again in this zone, where we've now created this double bottom structure, which could lend to a much larger breakout as well. You know, we could be forming a W pattern here, a bit of a W pattern breakout, an exaggerated W, as we've continued in this downtrend triangle. There's some large moves that could be coming for Ethereum, and I think this looks pretty good. So I think the stochastics RSI is sort of showing consolidation here on this 22-hour time frame. Got a little bit of a bounce off this area pretty close to the 50 on the RSI. We did stay above that. So if we see those trend back up, that'll indicate that we'll have a chance to make this breakout. If this RSI trends back down and breaks below this 50 level, then, you know, maybe potentially we retest this downtrend line here, you know, where we're kind of in this triangle. We do have this support right here. That would fill this gap if we did happen to retest this towards the end of this formation and then broke out there. So there's nothing saying we don't see a rejection here. We have to be very careful about where the strength and the weakness of the market is at right now. Got a little espresso going so we can keep the energy going on the stream here. I'm going to go ahead and jump into XLM since I did get a request for that. And we're just holding right around that 23,000 for Bitcoin. So we'll take a look at the XLM Stellar Lumens versus the US dollar Tether on Binance. That is where I originally started trading this coin. Unfortunately bought in pretty close to the top back in 2018. Learned a hard lesson there. I was told by a friend to, just go ahead and buy it. He's like, oh, I like it better than XRP. And 2018 bear market was a pretty ugly time for me, folks. I had just jumped into crypto in 2017, so I think 2018 bear market probably similar feels to what this bear market is feeling like for a lot of people who may have jumped in at the top of the last run. But you learn those hard lessons, you reposition yourself better, and you can come out the other side. So we do try to learn from our mistakes here on this channel, and we do try to admit to those mistakes readily so that we can make people aware that we are human here. We do make mistakes. We have learned from them. We are moving on, and we are focused on right now, the present time, where we're at with XLM. The price action is currently sitting just above 9 cents. When I originally took a look at this asset, I want to say that it was probably about 10x from where it's at right now. So there's no saying this asset can't reach back to that price level and higher. And, there's a very similar chart for XLM that there is for XRP and Algorand. So we do see some confluence in the charts for the ISO 20022 assets, some of these suppressed assets that have either lain dormant or had persecution by the government. So what I see right here for XLM, we are negotiating right now this area, which is like a resistance that you're trying to flip into support right now, or you can see this consolidation in this triangle around that area, right around where that current price action is at. So it's very similar to Bitcoin. You're seeing most of these assets obviously are correlated to Bitcoin. So right now they're kind of going to be teetering on the edge of support and resistance, and they're waffling, waiting for Bitcoin to make that move and to make a decision for the market. So what I would see for XLM right now as it's consolidating, and what it's kind of a cup and a handle here. We've been seeing these patterns with some coins lately where the cup then creates more of a symmetrical triangle in the handle. So it's a little bit different. A lot of the time you'll see sort of a falling wedge or a falling channel in the handle. So this does look like a healthy consolidation, and we'll just take a quick measured move here. And that could take us well above the point of control. So around 12.7 cents, which corresponds pretty close to where this area topped out before, where we had some wicks up, some wickage over here. So I would take a look at that area, 12.7 cents. I do remember the price hanging out there on that asset not too long ago. Gonna adjust this just a little bit. Say 12.8 cents. I do hold some XLM, hold some Algorand, holding some positions in XRP. So ISO 20022, I do think these coins are going to be productive going forward. Maybe, not like super huge this year. We'll get some moves on it, obviously, but I think we're waiting for more regulation coming down the road on these types of coins. So I would just keep your eyes peeled on the price action. Try to be patient. Just accumulate these things. They're in a good range. Like I said, they're 90% down from the high. So we'll swing out a little bit, and I'm gonna show you the potential power of what this asset can do. And as we zoom back into focus there, you can see that cup swing down, and we've got this really nice cup and handle structure on the macro, where it's created this falling wedge pattern. Like I was saying, it's a little more typical of a cup and handle that you might see. So this looks really bullish to me. Right now you've broken out of this wedge, or you're attempting to break out of the wedge, depending on how you draw this line. And you're trying to negotiate this middle Bollinger Band on this 2-week time frame. So, once you move above that, which I do believe right now with the Stochastics RSI creating the momentum that it's creating, you have a good likelihood of doing that. And if you look at this macro point of control, we did bounce perfectly off of that on the VRVP. So this is setting us up for this move here, this very large move for Stellar Lumens. And if you look from the point of control up to the potential measured move on this thing, you're looking at a 36x for XLM somewhere into next spring. So that's XLM. I do believe that this asset has some room to grow. I am, however, a little higher on XRP and Algorand and some of the other potential ISO coins like Quant. I do think Quant has the scarcity that you're looking for, and it also has the interoperability. So that's another one that definitely has some play as far as these ISO 20022 coins go. And I will do a more in-depth review on some of those, and there's a few others that I haven't highlighted that are connected to that as well. So the markets are showing strength right now. We're holding above 23K for Bitcoin. We do see a little bit of a red candle forming here on the 4-hour, but I think that's okay. I don't think that's a huge issue, even if we close this candle red. If it closes at this level, that's going to close like an indecisive doji for the sellers above this point of control. It's going to show the sellers couldn't push the price to close below that point of control, and more than likely it's going to allow Bitcoin to form another candle where it can try to negotiate this middle Bollinger Band and this resistance line around the 23,232 area. So let's try and let the Stochastics RSI momentum build for Bitcoin on this 4-hour, and that should carry us into the afternoon here as the regular markets close and we move into the Asian session. So this is all pretty positive, I'm not going to deep dive some altcoins or anything right now. I don't have too much time on the stream, but I do want to highlight real quick. Let's just see where our total market cap is at. We do want to be above that 1 trillion. And we are at 1.022 trillion. So as long as we stay above that 1 trillion, we stay pretty bullish in the overall. It looks like we're trying to form this W breakout here, and that would be a really large move for the market itself. So the 2-week time frame for the total market cap, this still shows strength. The RSI hasn't even broken above the 50 level yet. This stochastics RSI is just trying to break into the overbought territory. So I think there's still some strength to be built there, as the price is also just broken above this middle Bollinger Band. And there is still room to grow for the total market cap as long as we stay above this $23,000 area, which right now it looks like maybe we're having a little bit of a problem with. So I'm going to zoom into the 7-minute time frame. It's not the prettiest pattern. So we've got a couple touches up top. Potentially 3 touches on the bottom of this flag here. And we're in this flag. So let's see how this flag plays out in the short term. And if we come back down to this point of control, which is 22,835, or the support just below that, which is going to be around 22,700. 22,705, maybe even move that back up to those candle bodies, 22,720. So somewhere in that area, we may see a short-term dip if we do happen to break down the bottom of this channel. If there is a move through the top of this channel, then just the short-term swing is going to take BTC somewhere in between these two levels here, somewhere between about 23,492 and 23,617. It looks like around 23,536, 23,540 area. So that's Bitcoin right now for the afternoon. That's the markets for the afternoon. I think that's about as fancy as we can get right now. And unless anybody has anything in the chat, any coins anybody else wants me to take a look at here while you guys have me for the next few minutes, I do have an engagement coming up here closer to the 2:30 time frame. Let me know, folks. Let me know. I'm going once. I'm going twice. Clown World 3 times. All right, folks. If you haven't, once again, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. And we'll be clowning around later. And I'm going to honk on out of here. My name is Jason Bruce. Have a great honking day, folks. Oh, hey, we got Chia Guy wanting to do XCH real quick. We'll do XCH. I did do XCH on the broadcast last night, I believe. But let's do a quick update on it. Such a good transition with the music too, man. All right, so XCH real quick. Chia, I did highlight that on Huobi, I believe. Was that where I was looking? Maybe not. Where did I look at it? Look at KuCoin? Yeah, I think I looked at KuCoin. Okay. So, Chia. We'll zip into the 4-hour here. This has some of the same feels that BTC and the rest of the market has as far as like where the indicators are at. And we do have a very similar consolidation to what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. There's some more wicks here, you know, because you do see the lower liquidity with these smaller coins. But we do have a similar structure here. It's a little bit of a porcupine with those spiky wicks. But if we connect those here, We do have a triangle. We do have some structure. You got a point of control here around $45.12 on this 4-hour time frame. I'm going to remove this previous work because it doesn't look like it's made that move yet. Pull this wick right here. This really is a little bit of an oddly staggered formation, but you know, an aggressive move on this thing. A little more of a swing move that would take you into potentially the end of the month. You might be looking at $79.50 for Chia. If we take a little more of a conservative target, which is just going to be the swing wick low to the swing wick high of this triangle formation here. You're looking at about 61.89. So I think there's some room for Chia here, you know, between about the $60 and $80 range. You know, you could start taking some profits and potentially see some consolidation after that. But, you know, when I swing out on this thing, it had such a sharp move down here. And this sort of falling, broadening wedge, and it had this real nice consolidation and this sort of triangle right here. This was a real nice clean breakout, and then we do have this consolidation that I just highlighted. But what I will note here on this 3-day, we have lost the Stochastics RSI. The momentum has swung back into this middle territory and has lost the overbought strength below 80. And the same goes for the RSI. It has dipped below 70. So it does show some consolidation. Nothing saying that it can't swing back up. But definitely something to be cognizant of, and you may get a retest of this 200 daily moving average in the middle Bollinger Band, which is around 35.50, and this point of control, which is at 31.12. So keep in mind potential downside for Chia too, because if the markets break down, you know, we could be looking at a retest even of this downtrend line if this point of control broke. Obviously, we wouldn't want to see that. You know, it would create new lows, and we wouldn't want to see that for the market. So always be cognizant of that because this wasn't such a sharp downtrend. We could be in a fake out stage right now, but I do believe that we have turned the corner for the market. So hopefully we'll negotiate this consolidation, and Chia will be able to move up to this range between $60 and $80, which is between the 0.382 and the 0.5 Fibonacci. You could see this thing move up to the golden pocket a little later on into this year, which would be, you know, in the, say, $116 to $126 range. And if for some reason some really good news or FOMO comes into the market for this coin, you could look out for 144 and 173 as some potential levels to take profits as well. Always try to take profits on your altcoins, folks. Nothing guaranteed with those. So I know you're having some success with the mining with that XCH guide, so good luck to you with that. Super happy to see that you're having the success that you are with that. I know you said that you were seeing some good blocks come in this month, a lot more success with some of the new equipment that you brought in. So if folks are interested in mining one of these smaller coins, XCH is one that you can look into. Yeah, so that's Chia. All right, so it looks like Justin jumped into the chat a little bit late. What's up, Mr. Justin? We actually had swung out and we're about to end the stream, and got a late request to take a look at XCH here. I did do a bit of a overview on the potential macro price for XLM on this stream as well, Justin, so you may want to move back in the stream after I jump off here and take a look at that I did jump into. So right now, just one more quick update for Bitcoin. We are consolidating and actually building strength now in this pennant that we've created over the course of this morning since we opened up. So this looks pretty good. Just trying to negotiate the middle Bollinger Band. We just want to be able to break out of this, top downtrend line on this this little pennant here. So I think we can make another move for Bitcoin today and still continue to play around in this $23,000 to $24,000 range before we potentially make a more decisive move as the week wears on. Oh, I just remembered something that I did want to cover, actually. Well, we have all this good stuff up here. Let's try the moon phases strategy. So there's a few different ones out here, and I'm not sure which one to grab, to be honest with you. I just want to see the moon phases or moon cycles and see how they're corresponding, because we did just have a full moon, right? So I think this will help us here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Maybe give us a little more breakup on that daily chart. So when I look at this, it's not the best correspondence. Here we had, full moon, dump, new moon, tiny pump, full moon, tiny dump, new moon, pump, full moon, tiny dump, new moon, dump, full moon, dump, new moon, little pump, then dump. This isn't showing me what I want to see. So just keep in mind, we did just have a full moon not too long ago, so things could get crazy for Bitcoin, right? I do like the oversold stochastics on the 1 day though. So I do like where we're at there. I like a green candle forming on the 1 day at the bottom of this flag. And I think that's probably, a nice spot to leave off for Bitcoin. Just keep in mind there is still potential downside to around the $19.2 thousand area. And keep in mind as well, if we did swing down there, it would create kind of a cup and handle formation that would be very bullish. If we swung out of that, it would give us a nice move, probably up to about 30,000. So be cognizant of that, folks. Pay attention to this flag. If you're following along on TradingView, make sure that you're drawing that flag and just be aware of support and resistance. Bollinger Bands are a great tool to use for that. So with that in mind, thank you everyone for jumping into the chat, jumping into this stream, supporting this channel. Make sure that you're giving a good honk on that like button if you haven't already. Give me a subscribe, folks, because that'll get you honking on into new videos as we continue to bring that your way. So hit the bell to get notified for that, and we'll be bringing you more in the future. So with that in mind, I am going to honk on out of here. My name is Jason Bruce. This is Crypto Clown World. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. I love you all. Take care. Have a fantastic afternoon.